Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to my second video premiere for my YouTube channel, Charm to Perfection. I want to say since the last time, or since last week, since the first video premiere, the Charm to Perfection video has over 140 views and counting, and also 14 new subscribers. I just want to say thank you so much just for supporting me, for sharing my video, and also thank you for sharing and subscribing. Um, I want to thank you for all of the support that I received from my very first video, from the text messages, the phone calls, actually watching it on the phone with someone who had a commentary the entire time. I just really enjoyed it all. And even, the constructive criticism that was given to me, I received it humbly because, again, that's what Charm to Perfection stands for. Receiving that support, receiving that constructive criticism, and acting towards that. Everything you guys said, I took humbly. And, when it comes to achieving your goals, you got to have a humble spirit. You got to have a learning spirit. You got to be able to listen to others without cutting them off. And even if, how sometimes somebody say something to you and the inside be like, and you just sit there like, no, you want to be like, hello. Okay. But anyways, you have to do that if you want to actually live a very successful life, because sometimes, God used others to speak to you. And sometimes, different messages and different learning experience can come from basically someone else saying something to you. So I just want to thank you for everybody. It was very overwhelming the very next day, from all the contacts that I received. And then I looked at it as the same way with the constructive criticism, that if I was doing everything right, I would be far more successful than I am right now. So maybe it's time for me to start listening to everybody, and well, not everybody, but start listening to some people, because that's what, that's what we're on this earth for, to basically help each other out and do that. Now, before I get started, I want to give a huge shout out to my nephews, and I'm gonna call them out by names, Lord, because if I don't, it's gonna be over. Zainez, Zion. No, let me call them out in age order. Zainez, Bryce, Zion, Zyler, Xavier, also, and then also my niece and niece. Let me tell you something. They actually sat there and watched the video premiere with their mother, Ebony, and they called me and was like, "Good job, Auntie B. Good job, Auntie Bonnie." And so Zainez's birthday was on the 29th, and we went to the Cheesecake Factory to, celebrate his birthday. So I'm sitting there minding my business, doing what I do, trying to figure out what I can get and what I can't get, counting no calories and them dollars as well. And Zainez nudged me like, "Auntie Bonnie, tell her about your YouTube channel." I said, "No, Zainez, we're going to do it later." Because honestly, I don't think I was confident enough to share my YouTube video with the server who came to our table. Girl, he kept budging me. I said, "You know what? I got to do it." So I did it. And once I finished telling her about my YouTube video, and they wanted me to tell everybody that came to the table about the YouTube video, like, that's how much they support me. That's how much they believe in me. And that's how much they encourage me. They're part of my why. They said in unison, "Make sure you like and subscribe." I was like, oh my God. Like, it just made me feel amazing. And this kind of leads into the phase one of dropping the weight of unhealthiness and low self-esteem, because I didn't feel that I was ready enough to start sharing my video or sharing, promoting it the way that I should, because I'm like, okay, I'm not all the way together. Is this really a formula that works? Those things, those thoughts that come into your head that make you feel like it's something that you cannot do. So then that goes on to the next night. Shout out to the Unit Band from Cleveland, Ohio, who basically had an album release party last night. And during the album release party, my cousin, Nate Ford, who basically said, if anybody have any business they want to, shout out, here's that opportunity to do so. He kept looking at me from the side eye. I kept looking down at my phone like, nope. My sister did one of those, to me while I was sitting there, and he told me to get up. I was livid, but I couldn't show it because I was like, man, I don't even know, if people want this, if they want to hear about this. So anyways, to make a long story short, I got up there. Oh my God. So my sister said I did a great job. but my voice sounded like it was cracking. I felt like it sounded like I was going to cry and everything else. But it's just, me experiencing all these things is something I believe that will be great for everybody to see when it comes to trying to perfection, because a lot of people see the results, but a lot of people actually want to see the process too. Like, what did you do to get here? And a lot of people feel like because of competition and hate and whatever the case may be, that they don't want people to see their actual process of getting to the results. Well, here I am, Siobhan T. Adams, and I'm willing to show you the process, be open and real when it comes to my process to getting eSign Records back up and running and off the ground, Charge to Perfection, and also my law firm, which by the grace of God will be opened up by the end of this year in Cleveland, Ohio. All right. With that being said, again, I want to thank you all so much for supporting me. I want to thank you all so much for subscribing and sharing my video. Well, let's get into the first phase. Phase 1, dropping the weight of unhealthiness. Okay, so just to kind of sharing that story with you, as far as my nephews basically trying to tell me to promote my YouTube channel. Last night at the unit band. First of all, let me tell you about this ballad that the unit band wrote called My Heart. Baby, when I tell you, I have an ear for music. I love music. That bad boy is going to put the unit band on the map internationally, because that ballad is awesome. Tina Marie, baby, you sang that song. When I tell you sang that song, they are available on Apple Music, Spotify. Man, please go subscribe, listen to it. Comment under my page. That song is amazing. Okay? So just getting back to dropping the weight of unhealthiness and low self-esteem, even in the process of me trying to build this, it was that low self-esteem that I was embarrassed or not feeling like I wasn't fully equipped to share my business, to share Charge to Perfection, to share my YouTube channel. And when it comes to dropping the weight of unhealthiness, I think we need to drop the weight of unhealthy thinking, unhealthy emotions, an unhealthy perspective, unhealthy relationships, and unhealthy relationships. So let's start with dropping the weight of unhealthy thinking. When it comes to unhealthy thinking, our brain can basically compartmentalize so many different things. Our brain is amazing, and there's so much that our brain can do. But on the flip side, our brain hold in past hurt, past pain, and past disappointment. And we want to sit there and blame everybody else for our hurt and our pain, or whatever the case may be. But what I'm learning and what I'm trying to do for myself is to basically, I'm not saying they didn't do it. Okay. I'm not saying they didn't hurt me. Let's get that together there. But what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, y'all. Again, I like to laugh. But what I'm saying is that me reliving that pain, me reliving that hurt, me reliving the disappointment and failures is a decision that I have to make. It's a decision that I have to let go. And, it's so funny because we sit down and we talk about these things all the time. And every time you talk about it, you give it life. You give it life. So the first step I want to start doing in my own life is, man, stop talking about the past hurt, the past pain, the past disappointment. The past is the past. And, at this point, you want to start, the Bible says, take captive of every thought. And that is actually a very, very, very important thing to do, because when you're taking captive of every thought, you're not basically trying to stop it. You got to start replacing it with more positive things, and so that it can push out all those negative thoughts. So first thing is dropping the weight of unhealthy thinking, and stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. If anybody in my family or anybody else hear me talking about, oh Lord, I can't believe they did that to me 15 years ago, check me, please. All right. Dropping the weight of unhealthy emotions. I was actually talking to a friend from Florida who currently from Miami, who currently lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and we had a very, very intense conversation after he watched my YouTube video. And one thing he said to me was, you know what, Bonnie? You own to something, because guess what? Our emotions becomes our habits. Let me say that to you one more time. Our emotions becomes our habits. There's so many times where I made decisions, and I made I had certain different actions based upon my emotions. And just again going back to that unhealthy thinking of the past hurt and everything else, and those emotions constantly coming back and forth in my life, I started to create habits based off those emotions, based upon how I treat people, how I treat myself, how I treat God, the way I do things, the goals that I go after. They became habits. So, when you feeling like you can't do something, guess what? You don't do it. And I was like, man, these unhealthy emotions are really deadly, because I never really looked at emotions becoming habits. So, another thing is dropping that weight of them unhealthy emotions, in a perspective, dropping the weight of the unhealthy perspective. And the perspective is basically how we see things, the way we look at life, the way we look at the things around us, the way we look at the world. And a lot of times we decide to pursue things that we think going to make us happy instead of pursuing happiness. Let me say it to you one more time. It's a bunch of repeats going on here, but I don't think y'all heard me though. We end up pursuing things that make us happy instead of pursuing happiness. Because at the end of the day, success and happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. And I think for me, I wanted to pursue things that made me happy instead of pursuing happiness. I wanted to pursue things that I felt was successful instead of living every day being successful in that moment. Because again, it's not a destination. And a lot of times when you're trying to go after things that make you happy at the time, it's short lived. And then you go looking for the next thing that make you happy, or you go looking for the next thing that make you successful, or that you may think may make you successful. So at the end of the day, we need to start changing our perspective on what is happiness and what is success. And so in conclusion, I just want to say that we're really in this first phase of dropping the weight of unhealthiness and low self-esteem. We need to start replacing those negative thoughts, those negative feelings, and those negative emotions with more positive things. I mean, affirmation. Well, that was okay. It ain't gonna come on now, but my Alexa go off every 2 hours, and it says, "Here's your reminder: I am not my failures." Oh my God. I'm sorry. I am not my failures. Through patience, prayer, and persistence, I am becoming the woman my heart desires. When I tell you, she says that every 2 hours, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock, every 2 hours. When I'm not here, she's saying it. And then I have a text message that Eastside Records sent to my phone, sent to my phone that says it as well. And it's so funny because you need those daily affirmations. You need to basically remind yourself who you are and whose you are. And not only that, but who you're going to become and who you are becoming. So, yes, that is focusing on replacing the negative thoughts and the negative feelings. And so for some of us, it's logging off of social media. Because I'm going to let y'all on a little secret. There's a lot of people that are doing things like this, or whatever the case may be. And for me, I was scared to actually put it on my Facebook page immediately because I didn't want to get judged like, oh, she's trying to be like me, or, oh, that wasn't that good. Oh my God. Okay, here comes somebody else trying to do something that is not in a league, in their lane, or whatever the case may be. So it took me a minute to actually post a video on my Facebook page. So sometimes we got to even log out of Facebook, because even if I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, but sometimes people post things and you think it's about you, and it probably ain't even about you. It's about somebody, but it may not be about you, So logging out for Facebook, and also focusing on the process and not the results, right? Because again, success is not a destination. Happiness is not a destination. It's a process. So focusing on the process and actually enjoying the process, enjoying learning from the process, enjoying going through the process, and then just enjoying seeing the fruits of your labor during the process. So With that being said, for all my charm to perfection ladies out there and who's out there, I do want to challenge you all for the week until the next video. First of all, I want to challenge you to write down every offense, every negative thought that comes to your head this week. I mean, keep a journal, do a voice memo at the time. And then I want you to basically go back and read through it. And not only just write it down, but try to explain how it makes you feel. And I'm going to do it next week, and I'm going to share it with you all as well. And then at the end of the week, I want you to just pray over that list and let it go. Burn it, bury it, throw it in the trash. Just don't look at it no more. Don't talk about those things no more. Let it go. And of course, none of us are perfect. And we might sit there and, bring something up. But as soon as you recognize it, stop it. Change the subject. Keep it moving. Because as soon as we let all that stuff go, guess what? We can move on to that next phase of dropping the weight of offensiveness and unforgiveness. Because at the end of the day, you have had past hurt. That don't mean that you're going to not get hurt again or be offended again. It just simply means that, look, how do I deal with it now? And then you also have, I also want you to team up with someone in your circle, whether it's in your city, a family member, a friend, just team up with someone in your circle to hold you accountable to just making sure that this particular challenge is completed by the end of the week. I mean, if y'all want to share, meet, do something, but that accountability is what's really important when it comes to trying to perform perfection. I also want to challenge you all to go on my Facebook page and hit like so that you can get updated with things that was going on with Charm to Perfection and actually my journey to the process of success or succeeding. And then I want you to incorporate to plan a journey of healthiness. Like I told you in a previous video, I actually started a women's weight loss support group. And in the process of that, I meal prep, meal plan, and, work out with my workout partner. And just started to, bring that healthiness back into my life, because when it comes to it, I can tell the difference when I don't work out in a couple of days and I do work out. Because when I don't work out, I'm like, I just started feeling like, what is this? Oh my God. Started to get up and just be like, man, forget it. Just jumping out the bed like, So I definitely want you to go ahead and accept the challenge for the week, because it wouldn't be, Charm to Perfection if I didn't even challenge you guys to do the things that I'm trying to do. Because at the end of the day, again, I just want everybody to just start knocking off this code so that they can live in the best version of themselves. I want to thank you all for listening and tuning in to the second premiere of Charm to Perfection. I love you all and have a good night. Thank you.